Hi everyone, here I am again. This is Jay Torres and welcome to Would You Like to Make. It has always been my pleasure to bring you beautiful and meaningful videos about woodworking, DIYs, power tools, and hand tools as well. At sa video na ito ay papakita ko sa inyo one of the very important tools of a woodworker. Ito ay walang iba kundi ang pait o chisel. Yes, a chisel. Any woodworker can't deny that even if he has all the power tools in the whole world for woodworking, kailangan pa rin niya ang pait. So the fact is that no woodworker in any part of the world who doesn't use a chisel. At sa video na ito, I am going to show you kung paano ako maghasa nito. Disclaimer po, I am not a professional nor an expert in sharpening a chisel ha. But in my previous sharpening, I guess I was effective in doing such kasi tumalas naman ang chisel ko. So without further ado, sisimulan ko na ang aking pagpapakadalub. Hasa. 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 Sweetheart, apron please. Alright. Let's go. Wood you like to make. Well, here I am now, and these are the pieces of stuff that I am going to use. And before I start to show you my sharpening, let me tell you something. Every woodworker has their own unique in one way or another sharpening technique. So there's no right way to do this, and my way of doing this is just the way that works for me. I have maybe done this differently in my previous sharpening, and I will maybe have a different method this time, and different again on the next time. So it's just an ever-changing process where there is no limit in trying something new. Then I won't like that way, so I'll just change the way again, or I will like it and stick with what's working for me. Whenever I sharpen a chisel, I just follow the same principles as any edge woodworking tool. I prefer diamond stones or diamond plates, but you can always use whetstones, carborundum, or whatever method you prefer. But I advise not to use the high-speed grinder. When I first started out in sharpening a few years back, I used whetstone, and I thought using it was the best method until I discovered after some research that diamond stone is way much better than whetstones, and I actually need to buy diamond stone for use in flattening the whetstone. I only use whetstone now in sharpening our kitchen knives, and these whetstones wear out over time as you are sharpening your tools on it, and needs to flatten it periodically with diamond stone. I only used this one two-sided diamond stone before. Then I figured I might as well just buy one more two-sided diamond stone to complete the set and never go back using whetstone in sharpening my chisels ever again. The first one is coarse, which is 200 grit, and on the flip side is fine, which is 600 grit. And the second one is medium coarse, which is 400 grit, and on the flip side is extra fine, which is 1000 grit. This one is a sharpening stone holder. This allows me to sharpen my tools with water, oil, or even dry. This rubber body pulls double duty by not only keeping my diamond stone in place on the top side, but it keeps the whole device from slipping or sliding. Sharpening chisels freehand takes some practice, but it is an attainable skill, and I feel more comfortable sharpening using this honing guide. And if you are a beginner, it will be much easier for you to begin with your bigger chisels before moving on to your smaller ones. honing guide is very useful to me if I want to achieve an exact bevel angle. Often, honing guides have distances etched or embossed into the body, which helps me position the blade and tells me how far this needs to be protruding to achieve the correct angle. For the 25 degrees bevel, I just have to protrude the chisel 40mm from the edge of the jaw and 30mm for the 30 degrees bevel angle. I've been using water for lubricating the diamond stone. It seems to work okay, until I've seen some videos of experts highly recommending automotive glass cleaner for more efficient and effective sharpening, thus protecting the diamond plate at the same time. Then out of my curiosity and thinking there's nothing bad to give it a try, so I'm going to figure it out now how it works and see the difference. This one is a strap. This is a compressible strip of leather. I'm going to use this for polishing the edge after I sharpen the chisel on the diamond stone to remove burrs and give it a polished finish. This works by using the abrasive properties of the leather and by applying polishing compound to remove small amounts of metal from the edge of the blade, creating a sharper edge. And by the way, this is the polishing compound that I was just saying. I'm going to rub this later over the surface of this leather strap to give some coarseness equivalent to around 0.5 microns or 50,000 grit, which will give a mirror-like finish to the tool. I suddenly thought of something to do before I start sharpening. Let me first look for a small piece of scrap plywood here, to where I can adhere the leather strap to make the polishing easy and stable. I bought these two chisels around 5 or 6 years ago, but I quite neglected them, so they got rusty. And what I want is to clean them first. I will remove the rust first before going on sharpening them. Here you can see the small spots of rust scattered almost all over the front and back, and I will try to use this 800 grit sanding paper to take the rust off. I realize, why am I making it harder for myself in sanding if the rust can also be removed when I grind with a diamond stone? Oh guys, I'm sorry for that foolishness. Here it is. By grinding with 200 grit, I'm making the backside of this chisel flat as well. The backside must be perfectly flat, because this is going to be the reference when we do chiseling. But it is not necessary to make the entire backside flat. Flattening around 1.5 to 2 inches from the tip of the edge is just fine. But in the case of this one, I want to grind the entire backside to completely remove the rust stains. And of course, I also want to grind the 2 inner bevel sides and the 2 outer sides because they are also rusty. So the 2 bevel sides, and the 2 outer sides. going to switch to 1000 grit to remove the grinding marks caused by grinding in the 200 grit. I'm switching now to 200 grit diamond plate as I prepare for the grinding and making of 25 degrees bevel angle. Coarse grit like this one saves time and effort in achieving the desired bevel angle than using a medium or finer one. Every new chisel has a default factory angle of around 22.7 to 23 degrees. But according to those experts in using chisels since ancient times, the most ideal and effective bevel angle is 25 degrees, and I believe that is why we should follow it. So every chisel has to be set up at the ideal angle before we use it. I am now using the template I made earlier for using the honing guide. For the 25 degree bevel angle, I use this as a gauge. I tighten this with a screwdriver to make this more secure in place. So, to start grinding on the bevel, I'm putting my forefingers near the tip and applying as much pressure as I can. Then I'm going to start off pushing and pulling, and I want to just keep going until I get the 25 degrees bevel angle and override the default factory angle. I'm going to check the progress every now and then until I see that the default factory angle is overridden by the 25 degree bevel angle that I am making. Now that I achieved the 25 degrees bevel angle, I need to smooth it out. I'm going to use a medium fine grit which is 600 grit, then later the extra fine grit which is 1000 grit, and repeat the same grinding process. I'm checking the progress, then taking a slight pull for the backside against the plate to remove the burr. Wow, so far the progress goes to my liking, and with a bit more grinding to 600 grit, this would be perfect, then followed by the extra fine grit to a more satisfying result. And now, to totally smoothen the bevel, I'm switching to extra fine grit and going to do the same process. Checking again the progress. Then keep going and going. It's now getting so smooth and shiny. Now, I'm going to use this leather strap. I'm going to apply first a honing compound over the surface of this compressible strip of leather to make a coarseness equivalent to around 0.5 microns or 50,000 grit, that would give a super smooth and shiny finish on the sharpened edge of the chisel, thus creating a sharper edge. And again, with the use of a honing guide, putting my forefingers near the edge and applying as much pressure as I can, but this time only pulling motion is applied and no pushing. Doing this stroke not less than 30 times to achieve a more smooth and sharper edge. I also want to smooth not only the edge but also the front side and back side of my chisel, so it will also be rubbed into the strap to give my chisel a better overall finish. And now that my chisel is ready, I'm going to make a 30-degree secondary bevel on the edge. Though a secondary bevel has nothing to do with the sharpness of the tool, the benefit I get with this is making the next sharpening much faster and easier, because I will only have to sharpen a smaller 30-degree edge and not the whole 25-degree edge. And again, I'm using my template as a gauge for the 30-degree bevel angle. To make the secondary bevel, I use the 600 grit diamond plate to save time and lesser effort. And like what I did in strapping of the 25-degree edge, I will also apply this time only a pulling motion and no pushing, and have to be more careful and see to it that the balanced pressure from my forefingers is even on the right and left to avoid an even bevel. Checking the progress, but I'm not yet satisfied, so I just keep on going. Checking again, I can feel the burr underneath, and to remove it, a single to a couple of short passes in the diamond plate is just pretty enough. So, I'm satisfied now with the secondary bevel. I'm going to switch to extra fine grit to smoothen the edge. And go going to do the same process as making the secondary bevel and just keep going until I get the desired sharpness or smoothness. It's great! I get what I want. I didn't make any mistakes in the process, and it looks like I'm doing it perfectly. This is almost finished, and I feel satisfied with the smoothness. I'm happy with the result, especially when I finish polishing this on the strap. Well, let's go with the strapping, but let me just wipe my work surface first. And here I go now. I'm going to do exactly the same strapping process with the primary bevel. My forefingers applying a balanced pressure towards the stroke and only pulling stroke and not pushing at all. And doing this for not less than 30 times. It's better if you can do this freehand or without a honing guide, because if you notice, the polishing compound is peeling off because it sticks to the wheel of the honing guide. Let's have a short break and let me just clean first the wheel of this honing guide for a moment. This is done and it's beautiful. I'm going to show you some sharpness tests in a short while. This is what I was saying before I started sharpening. The process that works for me. There is no right or wrong process in sharpening. The important thing is that you sharpen your chisel and you are satisfied with the result. I am not an expert in sharpening, so if you have any suggestions or comments, please feel free to put them in the comment box below. And because this video is getting too long, I won't show you anymore how I'm going to sharpen this one. Anyway, it's going to be the same process. Well guys, this video is coming to an end. I hope you learned something, at least a little bit. And I repeat, I am not a professional nor an expert in sharpening chisels. And if you guys have a better ideas, feel free to put your suggestions or comments below. And if you like this video, please hit the like button. And for those who haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you can always be updated when we have a new video. So that's all guys. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, see you!